How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over something a little different. In this video, we're going to review the top 5 things you can do to make you a better shot with a pistol. We'll be going over how to improve your grip, your stance, your sight alignment, your recoil mitigation, and your trigger pull. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can be notified when we post other videos. Without further ado, let's get into it. Up first is probably the most important thing you could do to shoot a pistol correctly, is having a proper grip. The first thing you want to do is make sure your hand is all the way up as far possible as it can be on the beaver tail of your grip. Then wrap around your fingers around the grip of your pistol. We do this because most of the recoil generated from firing a pistol is from the slide reciprocating extremely fast. So the further you're up on your grip, the more control you'll have over your recoil. Step 2 is to take your non-dominant hand, rotate it so your thumb is parallel with the frame on your firearm, and place it inside of this gap, like so. Step 3 from there would be to wrap your fingers around your other hand. I like to put my fingers in the grooves of my other hand just to get a firm grip. Then, take your firing thumb and wrap it up on the other side of your hand. This may seem a little unnatural at first, but once you get the hang of it, you'll essentially creating a vice grip with your hands on your firearm. Having a proper pistol grip will drastically help you keep your sights on target and control your recoil. Another important factor when it comes to pistol grip is creating isometric tension. What this means is you're going to be pushing forward with your firing hand and pulling back with your support. The opposing forces will help you create the isometric tension you need to keep control of your firearm. Another important factor is how hard should you be gripping? Well, there's the rule of thumb 70-30. 70 coming from your support hand, 30 coming from your firing hand. The reason we do this is so your support hand can be there to mitigate most of the recoil, and your firing hand can be relaxed enough so you have a proper trigger pull. If your right hand is too tense when you try to pull the trigger, your shots could go off target. Next up is probably what's messing up your shot if you have all these other things down, is proper trigger pull. Having an improper trigger pull can significantly skew your shot to the left if you're a right-handed shooter, and to the right if you're a left-handed shooter. When pulling your trigger, you want to make sure you're pulling from the wall. Well, you may be asking, what is a wall? The wall is the point in your trigger where your firearm will actually fire. Many triggers will have a good bit of play in them before you actually can fire the gun. So you want to make sure every time you're pulling that trigger, you're pulling it from the wall. And all that requires is you to slightly depress your trigger, learn where that resistance is felt, and learn that wall. If you're not firing from the wall of the trigger, you could easily be overcompensating in your trigger pull, applying too much force that when you shoot, your gun will slightly skew to the left, causing your shots to go left. Or if you're left-handed, it might slightly skew to the right. Another factor to keep in mind with your trigger pull is using the proper part of your finger. You just want to use the pad of your finger. You don't want to use the tip, you don't want to use that joint. You want to use the pad of your finger. Next up is proper sight alignment. In order to shoot accurately, you want to align your front post directly in the middle and flush with your rear sights. When focusing, focus on your front post, not on the rear and not on your target. You want that front post to be exactly where you want your bullet to go. When shooting, you want to keep both eyes open. You want to focus your dominant eye on that front post. Make sure the front post is aligned and flush. Moving on to the next thing that will help you is a proper stance. To achieve the proper upper body stance, you first want to square up with your target. Bring your firearm at eye level and apply a slight bend to your elbows so they can act as a shock suspension system. You don't want to just fully extend and lock out your arms, because then you don't really have any support and it's just going to be all wobbly. Next up would be controlling recoil. Controlling recoil is one of those things that comes with a lot of practice, a lot of reps, a lot of just shooting, and all of the other things we talked about in this video. But there is one thing you can add, and it's called recoil anticipation. What that means is, as soon as your gun fires, you drive the barrel slightly down so you can get back on target, mitigating the up force. But this takes a lot of practice, because if you do it too early, your barrel will just shoot the floor. You're not going to be doing anything beneficial to yourself. If you do it too late, you're also not going to be doing anything to benefit yourself. Like anything, this will take some practice to get good at. My best advice to you is to learn exactly where the wall of your trigger is. If you learn this, you'll know exactly when to push your barrel down to mitigate that recoil. Well, there you have it, everyone. The 5 most important things you can do to make you a better handgun shooter. Let us know in the comments what your favorite tip was, or if you have any tips that we didn't cover in this video. As always, guys, thanks for watching and have fun shooting.